Bill Wenke is just a distinguished gentleman. He's not only a great lawyer, but he's a great leader. He cares about people.
He's got a resonant voice, and he just sort of stands out when he's in the courtroom. And I've had him as my own personal lawyer. I've had him against me in cases. He sort of dominates a courtroom. And another thing about Bill that always has impressed me is that you can take his word to the bank.
There are a number of people like Bill in the Bar Association of Orange County, but Bill epitomizes that characteristics that we were talking about earlier. That he, while he may not agree with everything that you're doing or proposing, he has that willingness to listen.
He is a man of passion. He's a man that when he decides that he wants to be involved in something, he is going to give it 100%. Well, for 30 years, I've always known Bill to be a person you can count on. You can count on him to tell you the truth, and you can count on him telling you what he feels. And yes, Bill will take an unpopular position if that's what he believes in.
And the concept was altogether foreign to attorneys, from the sense that if you were, at that point in time, Legal Aid and the ALTA founders were telling lawyers, look, you've got a fund of money that is small in comparison to your fund, but if it were all combined throughout the state and the interest on that trust fund money was collected and used to provide free legal services for the poor, not only would that be a wonderful thing, but you would not be losing any asset because you're not getting any interest off of those funds now.
One of the critical steps, of course, was to get the California Bar in behind this, because the way the legislation that we had drafted set up the administration of it, it was going to be the California Bar that would be setting up a trust fund commission and was really had to be carrying the ball, and therefore had to be being supportive of this legislation. We would never get through the legislature. And I remember the main session we had meeting with the California Bar. There was surprising amount of resistance among several members of that, of the Board of Governors of the State Bar at that time.
The immediate reaction, as I recall, was, "You stupid," with the finger pointing at us. "You stupid," like we didn't get it, like how complex this was, and we were just coming to them as a casual matter to change the law regarding clients' trust funds. He was angry. At that moment, the most magical thing happened. Excuse me. That's when Bill Wenke got up from his seat. Bill had shared that term as president of the State Bar with Bob Raven. And Bill got up from his seat, stood in front of us, the three of us, looked down at that board member who was in the process of giving us a piece of his mind about how we had not considered this seriously enough, but in much more graphic language. And he stood up, looked down at this board member, saying, "These are my friends. Are you calling my friends stupid?" The board member then backed off. Well, no, I'm not, and that's about all he got out of his mouth before Bill said, "I'm the conservative from Orange County. I'm voting for this bill. I hope my liberal colleagues from Los Angeles can join me." Bill went on to explain the need for legal services, how there was no viable funding source.
To date in California, IOLTA has raised $330 million.
So many hundreds of thousands of people by that argument that day. And he created a national program that till to this day is still functioning as a viable program that is the second largest funding source of legal services throughout this nation. So we all owe a debt of thanks to Bill Wenke, and we're proud today to be able to, in a small way, pay tribute to the work that he has done.